Hello there, Ken Nukarob here. Welcome back to another New in Town Dev Diary. Today we're going to be taking a look at some of the new content in New in Town Dimensions, which has just now been updated to Minecraft version 1.19. At long last, that's right, you can finally enjoy New in Town Dimensions alongside New in Town's latest update, the Fortified update for Minecraft version 1.19 and above. It's been a long time coming. I want to thank you guys for the patience. Let's go ahead, not waste any more time, and start getting into the in-between and some of the new portal logic that's been edited behind the scenes. So right now we are, of course, in the mayor's office. This is where typically New in Town Dimensions is going to begin for most players. This is where you get the books for the Fleet Manifest excavation least for later on, and where the recipe for the mysterious portal is. You can still, as always, access the in-between dimension by killing a phantom with a spectral arrow, which is represented here in the mayor's office as well. But this building still serves as the primary bridge between New in Town proper and the Dimensions expansion pack. Let's go ahead and build our mysterious portal here. And still the same as always, we are going to get some invaders coming in. I've gone ahead and disabled it for this demonstration, but typically for illagers are going to spawn when you build your mysterious portal or when you spawn it by killing a phantom. But because I didn't want to waste any time, I've disabled it for this demonstration. We get our portal here, the portal to the in-between Nexus of Worlds. Both the mayor's office and the portal are able to be built without the expansions data pack, or without the dimension expansion pack. So that's why you have a sign here and in the office for you to download if you so choose. You can just click this here and be able to access that and download that if you don't already have it. If you do have it, of course, then you can go ahead in survival mode and access the in-between by stepping into the water. This works exactly the same as it always has, but the portal logic has been significantly improved. You'll see here, for one, we actually spawned right here on the ground instead of up in a tree. You can still spawn in a tree, but if there's a portal nearby, then it's going to try and drop you off at that portal, that existing portal, and much more reliably. There were times before that it could bug out a little bit and you'd end up with portals on top of portals on top of portals. But just for demonstration, I'm going to step through this portal again and then back again. And we'll see that very reliably we are able to have the same portal be our entry point without creating a new one over top of it. So you'll see here, no clipping of a second portal trying to replace this one. So we are now in the in-between. All the dimensions have undergone pretty significant changes. This is due to the changes that were done to Minecraft terrain in general. Ooh, that's very bright, sorry. In 1.18.2, and then of course furthermore in 1.19, which is why this update has taken so long. So today we're going to be going over all of the changes that have come to the in-between as a result that I've had to make to allow for this update. Most of them in the in-between are going to be honestly pretty minor, but let's go ahead and hop over to the gap here, the sky here, and see. Generally, the terrain is a little bit less flat. The old in-between was definitely very level, whereas now you're going to get a lot more of these dips, a lot more of these smaller islands that might be a little bit lower. Still not going to get very many higher. That is something that I can still control, but it's going to feel a little more like a traditional Skylands than it used to. We also have fewer biomes and some new biomes. So first off, I'm sure you've already noticed, we've got over here this bright pink biome forest, reds and bright vibrant greens. This is the cherry woods. So this biome is replacing the woolen woods, mostly for visual distinction. The woolen woods, I'm sorry, not the woolen woods, that's the woolen woods over there. The wooded hills, most of that is visual distinction. The wooded hills were more vibrant than the woolen woods, but they didn't live up to their name. They were not necessarily more hilly than the woolen woods, so there wasn't a lot of point in keeping them. The cherry woods are much more visually distinct. They do have the brighter green grass, but now these much more stark reds and bright pinks, end rods hanging from the leaves, beautiful, enchanting kind of forest, as the whole in-between is and ought to be. So that now just a much more visually distinct biome, still enchanting, but for different reasons. This biome does feature frogs, as well as, of course, these fancy mangrove trees made of stripped mangrove logs, and, of course, these pink leaves up here. Other than the visual distinction, there's no functional difference between any of the biomes here in the in-between, with one exception being the battlefield still. But you can still get in-between portals naturally spawning here. If you're not familiar with New in Town Dimensions and the in-between, of course, due to the amount of time it's been since it's been available for an updated version, here in the in-between, this is basically, as the sign at the beginning said, the nexus of worlds. So here in the in-between, much easier to tell if we come over this way, portals naturally spawn. So you've got your portal that you entered from. That's going to be your way back to the overworld, back to your town. But then you've got naturally generating portals here. They spawn in all biomes. A little bit easier to find them here in the Sparkling Glacier, which is more or less unchanged. Perhaps just a little more consistent with the amount of ice that is visible compared to basalt. Still a little bit sticking out, unfortunately. But yeah, this is how you're going to be able to access all the other dimensions, by finding these naturally spawning portals. None of them will take you to the overworld. They will all take you to some of the other 3 dimensions that New in Town Dimensions adds. We're not going to be going through them right now, though. This is just about the in-between. So, of course, we've still got portals generating quite a bit. You can find them a little more easily with the command. You can actually search them now, thanks to Minecraft adding this ability, so we can do locate, structure, knit dim. If we do in between, we can search for portals. I have send command feedback turned off, but you would normally get a little text message to take you to the closest portal if you so chose. Now, of course, it's worth noting that that isn't always going to work, because sometimes portals can spawn in the sky, and when that happens, they get deleted. But Minecraft still recognizes that as a valid portal site. Unfortunately, not a real way at all to stop that, but still going to be generally reliable. There's enough land around that if you're trying to use the effect or use the command outside of a very large sky section like this, you're going to pretty reliably be able to find a portal. Now, of course, you can use a very similar command in order to find ruined towns, as we've done here. Those still, of course, will generate in the in-between. Here we have a very convenient one, very well hidden, tucked down in this cliff. Lots of heavy forest around it to kind of obscure it, but the guard tower still gives it away. These are basically exactly the same as they used to be. You've got the wagon, which will always spawn, and then up to 4 other sites that can spawn with varying degrees of loot. This is a farm plot, ruined, doesn't have anything. And then the guard tower as well, empty, doesn't have anything, doesn't even have ladders for you to climb up. The wagon will generally have a chest, not always. It can spawn without it. That's intentional. If you haven't been aware, though, something that was added in a couple updates ago, I think the last update, which we didn't have really a video for, now in the ruined towns, you can find these Settlers Journals. This is Settlers Journal number 4, and there are 7, I believe, Settlers Journals. In fact, if we collect this, they have advancements associated with them. So if we take a look at our advancements here, go to New in Town up here, you see we have Startling Foe for finding or building a portal. We've discovered a ruined town, and we have 1 of 7 of this Twisted Turn advancement, which is achieved for uncovering the complete history of the Illagers here in the in-between. So if you collect all 7 of the Settlers Journals, you get a good idea of what the Illagers were doing here in these ruined towns and why they're ruined. We happen to be quite near a battlefield now, so we'll check out this biome next. This biome as well is largely unchanged, still has the sky coloration changes that come with it, but of course since I have shaders on, that's much less obvious. But this is supposed to be a very, very sad, very dark biome. We've got graves all over the place, wither roses, and in this biome we can also find war machines, the ruins of the tyrants' prior invasions. Looks like we may not be able to find one here in this biome. They're a little bit more rare now since all the structures have been separated So it used to be basically portals and war machines and ruined towns were all the same structure that just generated differently. But now they are different structures. They all have different spawning conditions. So war machines going to be a little bit more rare. Same with ruined towns. But you can still find them here in the battlefield. Just not in any other biomes. Now you'll notice here we've got the battlefield, and then we transition pretty much straight away to Woolen Woods. We've got Cherry Woods over here, and transition once again pretty much right away. Oh, look at that ruined town. Very fun. Into a Sparkling Glacier. So we have removed the beach biome and the outskirts biome in addition to that wooded hills biome, largely because they weren't very useful. They used to be there for kind of transitionary biomes. That's something that's been removed from a lot of dimensions, is these biomes that serve basically just to transition you from one biome to another. But with a lot of the changes to terrain, those became much less necessary. And here in the in-between, I would say, was no exception. So beach and outskirts have been removed, but in exchange, we get these beautiful cherry woods and much more consistent portal and ruined town and war machine spawning that you can reliably find with structures. That is pretty much all that's new in the in-between. We talked, of course, about the small changes to the terrain, but this dimension was much less affected than dimensions like the Buried Ocean and Primordial Desert, which we'll take a look at in later videos. I do hope that you've enjoyed taking a look at the new in-between, at least, as similar as it is, and I hope that you'll stick around to see in future videos the changes to the other dimensions, to seafarers and to excavators, that we'll be taking a look at. Of course, if you can't wait for those videos, these changes are all publicly available now. You can go play New in Town Dimensions right now by following the link in the description, and you can enjoy it in 1.19 alongside the newest New in Town update, the Fortified update, which also was just recently released. Changes to castles, to walls, and lets you upgrade some sites. So lots of exciting stuff in both data packs. I hope you guys will check it out. Thanks for watching. I will see you guys later.